everybody, I'm Geo, and I'm bringing you guys what if Goku used the gravity room before Z. Now, a quick recap of what happened in the previous video. Of course, both Goku and Vegeta are training so they can prepare for the androids due to a warning of future Gohan from the future of this timeline. Eventually, of course, after being warned by future Gohan, they would have been trained to master the Super Saiyan form so they can get even stronger. Vegeta also would have convinced Chi-Chi to let them train Gohan, and eventually the events that happen in the original timeline does happen here. But of course, Joe is easy alongside 19 or easy defeated, but Future Cell still appears like in the original and eventually absorbs the android. But not because Vegeta lets him, but because he's able to find a lab before the Z-Fighters can, eventually absorb the androids and lead him to become a perfect Cell. He still gives the original 7 days before his tournament or his Cell games, so anyone can prepare. With both Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, the time to train together for the next 2 years, time in the Time Chamber. With, of course, the addition of Bulma giving them a gravity room, so he can handle the gravity inside. Bulma is actually going courage. Is actually able to upgrade the gravity room to a much more higher gravity than ever before because of the same technologies he was able to get. And throughout the years, she was trying to upgrade the gravity room to a point it can handle at least 1,000,000 times gravity. And that's why she needed it the most, because Goku and Vegeta are actually focused on increasing their base states. Since they know that their base forms were the first thing that they started to train with. Ever since they started to begin their training in the gravity room, they only focus on their base forms. So that's all they were going to do for the rest of the time. Piccolo also joins them as they increase their power. But Goku and Vegeta not only focus on mastering Super Saiyan, but also increasing its level, but also mastering and increasing their powers of their base states. By this point, both Goku and Vegeta are strong base to base with their Super Saiyan forms before their training inside the Time Chamber, which will most likely mean that they're even stronger than ever before. Both Goku and Vegeta would have been trained intensely hard, and eventually they were able to achieve even higher levels of Super Saiyan like Super Saiyan 2. Both of them were able to achieve throughout the 2 years of time of training due to intense training and gravity training as well. Piccolo will most likely be able to get the Kaioken with the help of Goku and increase to times 100. And thanks to gravity training, he's able to even increase to times 300 thanks to the help of Goku and his training with Ki control. All of them would have been focusing on increasing their powers in their base states at most, but that's why their Super Saiyan 2 forms will not have been mastered just yet. When it's a turn for future Gohan, future Trunks, and present Gohan to train, future Gohan would have told his past self to always push himself beyond his limits, but also spare time for himself and for some rest. Well, of course, President Gohan is going to agree with his future self. Eventually, him, future Gohan, and of course, future Trunks decide to train together. Both future Trunks and future Gohan know about Grade 3 since they have been training after Gohan left from the present timeline. So yeah. By the time they will most likely be able to help Gohan get to the next level as a 3 way able to master Super Saiyan. But of course, both Gohan will show a glimpse amount of Super Saiyan 2, showing its power and strength. But of course, both Future Trunks and Future Gohan being impressed. But Future Gohan will also continue to train even harder with his past self. But also, he will not push him too far since he knows his limitations and knows when to push himself and when to not do it. Both Future Gohan and Present Gohan train together and eventually were able to unlock Super Saiyan 2 alongside Trunks after some years later. With, of course, the two of them focusing on mastering this transformation. In base, they're slightly weaker than Goku and Vegeta, but when it comes to transformation mastery, they're actually overpower them. So that's why they're strong. I must say that in their Super Saiyan 2 stages, I must say that they're incredibly strong. So I must say they're almost close to both Goku and Vegeta's in unperfected Super Saiyan 2 stages. So yeah. Now, for the rest of the Z-Fighters, they'll get incredibly massive gains. I'll say that some of them will be as strong as Perfect Cell from the original timeline, if not even slightly stronger, maybe as strong as Boo from the original timeline as well. So yeah, they're this much strong. So yeah. Of course, Tia will be the strongest out of the humans, while Krillin will be the second strongest, Yamcha will be the third, and the rest you know. Now, when Cell games does begin, Cell is actually prepared to fight 2 opponents, not 1. Since Cell is actually much more cockier in his timeline, but he also wants to see his true power. If you guys are wondering, Cell did train, but only just for 1 day since he wants to be prepared. But that just 1 day increased power immensely. But Goku and Vegeta are ready to fight against him since their teamwork has been gradually increased a lot better. Both of them know their movements and have also trained to battle like one against Piccolo, and Piccolo has also mentioned that both Goku and Vegeta can actually fight as one person because they're intense training. Both Goku and Vegeta would have rushed against Cell as they power up to master Super Saiyan stages of forms. with both of them rushing against Cell as no classroom with Cell actually being impressed by their power and strength, since he has never seen something like this. But every would have shown their full power, seemingly not holding anything back. Of course, they'll still have their Super Saiyan 2 and a trump card that Goku has actually been telling Vegeta a long time ago, so they can be repaired. Of course, Vegeta did not actually learn that trump card, but this surprising Goku and President Vegeta were working on that trump card ever since the 3 years training. Of course, both Goku and Vegeta would have been continued to battle against, of course, Cell as Neo continues to push him back. Of course, with Cell being actually impressed by her power as he continues to power up himself. But eventually decides to power up just to 2 stages, and eventually would have actually surprised Cell. Cell will be pretty impressed by their power, but he tells him that it won't be enough. Cell powers up a special beam cannon, but Goku and Vegeta just smirk as they both shout in unison Kaioken, with a red hour surrounding them as they're still in Super Saiyan 2. Seemingly shocking everyone else as they had never seen Goku use Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan. Goku did have the idea, as Piccolo remembers, but he's actually seen Goku ever utilize Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan 2 before inside the Time Chamber. They just never actually wanted to show it because it was a trump card that they actually decided to prepare for Cell himself. Both Goku and of course Vegeta decided to face off against Cell, but Cell uses Kaioken himself to actually match both of them. Of course, Future Gohan, President Gohan, and Future decided to also join, powered with Super Saiyan 2 and rushing as well, with Piccolo doing the same as he powers up to Kaioken. They all rush in to defeat Cell. The humans would have fired beams from the back so they can barely distract Cell, while Cell will battle with everyone else. Cell then spawns Cell Jr. so they can hold them off, but Cell Jr. will be slightly weaker than the rest of the fighters, but they're still able to pick up with them because Cell putting so much more energy to them, but he's still lightly overpowering Goku and Vegeta. Goku and Vegeta have actually control over their Super Saiyan 2 stages, but they decided to go to Master Super Saiyan, and eventually they shout Kaioken times 5. With this 5 times boost in power, they're able to increase the power just enough so they can start to overpower Cell little by little. Cell, of course, is impressed by their power, but he tells them that it won't be enough as he starts to power up his Kaioken level even more. Goku and Vegeta know that Cell does not actually have their experience in Kaioken. Goku has a much stronger experience with Kaioken than Vegeta, so he can increase his Kaioken level even higher than Vegeta can. While Vegeta can only increase it to a much lower level of Goku, but he's still pretty impressive in fight. But Goku and Vegeta will shot maximum Kaioken, as Vegeta would have reached his maximum Kaioken of 8, while Goku reached his maximum Kaioken level of 15. Yes, Goku's maximum Kaioken level in his Super Saiyan form is 15, which is still incredibly impressive to say the least because of his power. With this, of course, Goku would have used this power to rush against Cell as he would then strike him with a kick, sending Cell flying. Cell decides to power up to maximum Kaioken and it's only times 10. But of course, even with this, he's actually equalizing Goku in his 15, since his base form is actually higher than that of Goku. Both Goku and Vegeta decide to fight off against him, but eventually they actually get a message from King Kai, telling them about the Metamorph fusion, and he can practically give them the idea of it. Goku and Vegeta decide to actually keep that in mind, as they listen to King Kai while fighting Cell, as they continue to keep focusing. Everyone else continues to fight off against Cell, as Goku and Vegeta then nod as Goku and Vegeta instantly fly away. Cell is confused on what they're doing, but he has to let them as he then battles with everyone else. Goku and Vegeta decide to perform the fusion dance, and this time they actually performed perfectly from the first try. Since they both were focused on trying to achieve the fusion dance, they took King Kai explain every detail of the fusion dance so they can learn it. If wondering how would King Kai actually know about the fusion dance or how he would have actually taught them, was because Goku actually would have told King Kai if he can practically search for powerful techniques that can increase the two users' base power. And King Kai would have been able to find the Metamorphs, and eventually they would have told and even shown King Kai the Metamorph fusion, which will most likely King Kai would have shown to Goku and Vegeta through his mind telepathy. So yeah. With this, of course, both Goku and Vegeta would have used the Metamorph fusion and eventually fused into Gogeta for the first time in his timeline. Vegeta will crack his neck, and his base form will be much harder than both Goku and Vegeta's Super Saiyan 2 stages. He's even more powerful than base Cell. As Gogeta then flies back, seemingly with much more speed as he kicks Cell in the face with incredible speed, with everyone being in shock as they see Gogeta. Gogeta explained that he's neither Goku nor Vegeta, he's Gogeta, the fusion of both Saiyans. Cell will be impressed as he will then power up. But of course, Cell does trying to power up and destroy the planet, but Gogeta is able to fire up a Kamehameha and annihilate Cell. But Cell is able to regenerate and became Super Perfect Cell. But even with this, he is actually only equalizing his power with that of base Gogeta. Of course, with him being much more powerful, he decides to then power up into Kaioken. And he then shouts Kaioken times 50. Which actually surprises Gogeta as he's pushed back, but then he uses Super Saiyan and he shows his superiority to Cell. With Gogeta telling him that he can go even a little further. He then powered up Super Saiyan 2 as he shocks Cell as Gogeta tells him that is the end. As Gogeta powers up a Dragon Fist as he fires it at him, annihilating Cell once and for all as he is obliterated. Future Gohan, Future Strongest, and President Gohan decided to leave alongside everyone else, with Gogeta just giving a thumbs up as he then defuses. Goku and Vegeta give themselves a high five as they're pretty happy about it. Eventually, the Virtual Wars will still go back to their timeline, eventually able to defeat the androids and actually leave peacefully, while the rest of the fighters or train and continue to train because little did they know is another powerful threat would have come, even more powerful than that of Cell. But guys, this is the end of this part. I will see you guys in the next one. Sayonara, Mizzy fans.